Good morning, everyone. Today, I'm only getting like half of people showing up. It looks like Facebook's not quite synchronizing. So, if you're wondering what's going on here, I'm waiting for my 4 of 8 to become 7 of 8. I never actually seem to manage to get it to synchronize with my personal account anymore. But I do try to get it to synchronize with everybody, and it looks like Facebook's just having a bad day with me. So, if you're wondering what's going on here, we're working on it. We're trying to get there. So, I only see 4 of 8 still holding for 4 of 8. I see one of you guys out on Twitch, but I'm not seeing Facebook synchronizing. Periscope synchronized, YouTube has synchronized, Picardo has synchronized, but all of Facebook is having problems. I'm going to restart all of those guys. Let's see if I can't get a little bit better response out of this. May just have to go on ahead and get started without it. Okay, well, today we're going to be working on Nancy Hansen's Silver Pinnacle, which is a project I'm working on for Airship 27. So we'll get started right after this. Computer. Lights. All right, good morning and happy Thursday. I'm not seeing synchronization with Facebook, so Facebook may be a loss today. It looks like it's already given up on a couple of them because it's now saying 4 of 6. So I think it's already giving up. Today's show is brought to you by Malala Yousafzai, who is a young lady who stood up to the Taliban in a few years ago and ended up getting shot for it. But she recovered. But she says, when the world is silent, even one voice becomes powerful. When the world is silent, even one voice becomes powerful. I have a calendar of these things, so that I've just got a quote every day, so I don't have to go looking for quotes. Seems like a thing. So, again, today what we're going to be working on is we're going to be working on our piece for Nancy Hansen, which is we've got to fix up some pieces for it on the Silver Pentacle. But, as you know, we will be moving over for warm-ups first. So let's go on ahead and head over to the other table for warm-ups. You can follow me if you would like and join me on this, and that is totally fine. All you need is a piece of paper, just a normal piece of paper, and just a normal pencil, just like this guy here. You'll need a fine liner of some sort or another. You'll need far less cat hair. I certainly have a cat hair issue. George likes it up here. Anyway, you'll need just a normal pencil and a normal fine liner. You can use a ballpoint pen if you absolutely have to, although the ballpoint pen tends to do not any good. And you'll need a ruler. This is what we call an engineering scale. The only reason I use this is because it's easy to pick up. That's it. You can use any ruler. You can use actually a straight edge. You don't even really need a ruler, just anything with a straight edge, the side of a book or anything like that. I like scales because I can pick them up. And what we're going to do is we're going to real quickly just do, we'll draw a couple of straight lines, right? Not all the way to the end, but mostly to the end, right? Let's do 2 of these. And then we'll do a couple where we start, just a little dot, and then we end. And that's all we want there. Just the beginning and the end, okay? And we'll do the same thing right here. So then we'll do a couple of lines. We'll draw a long line here. And then we'll draw a very, very long line here. Like that. So we've got 2 shorter lines, 2 longer lines, and 2 destinations and arrivals. Now, one other tool that I will often use is this. This is called a French curve. And we use a French curve. You can use anything. You could use a cup and just trace around it. What we really want is just some curves in here. And I'll show you why. Put some curves in. Like so. Right? Like that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to ink this. We're going to take a 0.4 fine liner, just like this. And we're going to trace over these lines. Now here is the trick we want to do. We want to keep our elbow not on the table like this. We want to keep our elbow up. We want to keep our wrist up. So we want to draw as much as possible. We want to draw like this when we're drawing. You know, so here's the table we'll be drawing like this, so that we keep our wrist off the table and keep our elbow off the table. That's what we're doing. And we'll start right here. And we'll trace out this line. Now the idea, of course, is not to be perfect. Now, a couple of days ago, Brent had commented, one of the viewers on the show had commented that I'm always pushing, not pulling. So you can see a big difference if you pull. And I think that's actually a very valid point. Because with pulling, I get a different gradation on this. Now with these guys right here, we are leaving this point and then moving our eyes to here. That's the whole point of this. We're trying not to follow with our eyes as we do our drawing here. We want to look to the arrival. So we'll look to the arrival like that. Our eyes are here, and now our eyes are here. And that's fine. We're just practicing that arrival. Do the same thing now with a long run here. Don't worry if you wander off the line. That's not the point. The point is to try to be as accurate as possible. There's no award for being super accurate. This is all just trying to get your skill level up. I think I'm going to always do this way. Now the thing that I have a real problem with, and I will always sort of seem to have a problem with, is tracing curves. So now we're going to try to trace this curve. Right? And this curve. And this curve. And this curve. There we go. The last thing we do on these is always we want to put the date on here. And the only real reason we put the date on here is so that later, when we look back on these, we want to know how evolved we've become. And there you go. The warm-ups are complete. So we'll return over here to the main camera. And I am still seeing that we are not connected to Facebook at all. I'm not sure whether we're even being seen on Facebook. That'd be kind of sad. Now let's switch over to the monitor. The project that we're doing here is, these are the internal illustrations for a book that is being done for a group called Airship 27. And they do sort of, I'm trying to get rid of a wire here, get comfortable and settle in. They do a sort of, these are kind of the old pulp fiction sort of things where they do kind of a pulp setup. And so this is, we're actually going to work on this front line is what we're going to do. So I've pulled everybody out of here so I can work on this. That's these guys right here. We've got to go on ahead and clean this up because I've moved things over. So we're going to have a black and a white pen for fixing stuff. This guy's going to have to, like that. It's not a big deal. And this guy, however, is sort of torn up, so we're going to have to fix some of this here. But anyway, they do these pulp books, which are fascinating, but the whole concept behind them is that they have the illustrations like the old 1950s books, you know. Here we go. We're gonna put in this guy's boot, so his boot's back. Here we go. We're just kind of fixing sort of this kind of thing here. Really just carving out the parts of this so that he can, you know, have his existence again. And you might be asking, why in the world did he not have the existence in the first place? That would be a good question. The truth is, he was under the big baddie initially. So, since he was under that big baddie, I didn't bother to finish the rest of the picture off. But now he's back here, and I want to make sure that I've got all of this sort of laid out. There we go. There we go. We're just repairing that foot. And this guy's missing an arm completely, and you know what? I actually kind of like the idea that he's got some kind of tentacle going for him. These are all demons, so they all have wild aspects to them. So I'm going to go ahead and do Okay. Give him that. We'll actually give him, like, scales. Maybe he actually is sort of snake-like in some way. So when we add him in, it doesn't really matter. He's going to be on top of that quite a bit. It's kind of a bummer because he's kind of cool, but that's all right. We got to fix what we got to fix. One of the other things that's going on here is I moved my my characters up on this front line. Right? So we're going to have to go through and just fix some of this stuff. There we go. We're just going to go on ahead and clean this up. And what we're doing here is we're adding back in the bottom parts of this picture. There we go. One of the biggest things we're going to have to deal with is this. Once this is dealt with, we'll be good. Alright, like that. Now let's take a look. The front line's been put back. Put the bad guy in like that. This is a slight fade out line so that they don't stand out too much. I don't want them to actually stand out enough that it's an issue. Another fade out line. Then we put our hero in. Major reason we're doing this is because on top of this we have these saturated lines going like this to kind of draw your attention to the eye, which is the whole point, right? So what we're going to do now is we're going to I want to correct this. This is an amulet that is this is the first time we've seen this amulet. So let's go on ahead and make it look nice. Right, so we've got a crystal. Which I feel like he can see through, so he can hold it and actually like see through it. That's part of the book kind of indicating that he can see through this. So I'm going to give it the ability to be seen through. Like that. There we go. And real quickly, my follow the delivery map is no longer available. There we are. We are waiting for a 3D printer to come in. But I really, really, really don't want my 3D printer to be pirated off the porch. So, alright. I'm going to go in here and get a little closer. Alright, we're going to do this. There we go. What we're doing here is we're just adding a little bit of weight to this guy. I'm actually going to give this a lot more shape too. I want to sort of make it And one of the things we want to probably do here is put in some like darkness on here. We're just giving the effect that this is a crystal. It has a lot of reflection things going on inside it, so that it, it is what it is. And here, I feel like he will hold it with his hand here. So I'm going to give it not a handle per se, but I think about the way that he holds it. He's going to hold it like this, right? So you want to have a spot where it's the thumb is in the front, and the ability to hold it like this, because he's going to look through it and things like that. So, yeah, a little holdy thingy here, for lack of a better word. It's a holdy thingy. I don't even really know what to say. And perhaps we've got sort of like a gold band going around it here, which gives us something to hold on to up there. Right, so this band right here is holding the crystal in, but at the same time giving us a handle at the top, right? And I'm going to let this wrap around the bottom. There we go. There. So now we've got kind of a supporting unit that kind of holds it in and has the chain top on it. But let's go ahead and fix that a little, because I kind of want that to be more like this. Like it's not actually involved in the crystal top at all. And so we'll do this, and come around here, in there, make that look kind of like a cobra head. Right, so here's the chain going in, coming out, etc., etc. And I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it's going to be hard to see. And I get that. In fact, I think we might want to make it a little larger just because it is so hard to see. There we go. And then I'm going to go underneath it here. I'm going to add a new raster layer. We're going to come in white. I'm going to go brush. And I usually use this skin brush for everything, but I'm not going to use that skin brush. I'm going to use a watercolor brush. And maybe even a realistic brush. We're just going to come in here underneath it like this. I'm going to put in white. I'm going to get in close over here. What we're after here is making this look like it's glowing. So I'm adding these rings kind of going out like this. A little bit of chaotic rings going on. This way it doesn't feel, or it feels like it's glowing. You can sort of see through some of these rings, but not a whole lot. Right? There's still nobody out there. And this also gives us the side effect of making this isolated, so you can see it very well. See, even from here, you can really see that. Right? Add a new layer. And we're going to talk a little bit about some of the weirder brushes we've got over here. Can we add some of these elliptical brushes or whatever? Probably not. All right. Not really seeing some, but it's really small. Right, I'm not seeing that either. That's all right. I don't think we need to see much more than that. Do feel like I kind of want to like take this big soft. I'm gonna go over here. I'm just gonna bring the size up quite a bit. We're gonna do this. We're just gonna kind of go in around the edges like this. Right. Because I'm just trying to introduce a small amount of chaos to the picture. Because I really want chaos in here. Add just a little bit of a, not quite a painterly feel on this, but sort of, that kind of, it's a painting. Just a little bit of chaos. Yeah, that's what I'm after here. It's just a hair on the chaos side. I'm trying to clean this up a little. There, like that. Right, so we add a certain amount of chaos to it. It looks good. And one last thing. This takes place in a sewer of some sort. So I really want to add just the implication that there is structure under here. That they're in a structural building of some sort. So we're going to do this. We're actually we should probably put this on a new layer. Right? We don't have to make that a big deal. But just giving some feeling that there is structure and there's something back there in the hallways or struts or something. Right. We actually probably could even put like an ellipse back here to show that there was some kind of hallway or something back there, just to kind of make it look like it's the deep depths of hell. They're in the sewer wandering around, so I kind of want that to look like a sewer. But now that I've done that though, right here, one of the things that I'm feeling very strongly about now is if we look at this, we should come in here and make this flamey or something. Like, let's formalize this. Now you can kind of see it. We'll give it some effect that makes it look like it's really doing something over here. Right? Now it looks like it's on fire or flaming or something. But definitely we're looking a lot better in this piece than we were when we started today, which is good. All right. I feel like I'm having a bad internet days, so I don't know what's going on over here on the internet, but it's not looking so hot over there. It looks like I'm still stuck, not clearing the data points out on Facebook. Let's see what we got on. If I go out and actually attend Facebook, does it say that I'm live? I don't even know if it says that I'm live. Yeah, I don't seem to be broadcasting out on my pages. Yeah. This is interesting. a fascinating thing looking out here on the interwebs to see what we've gotten here. Let's see what we've got on Geek Tank. Okay, so we are broadcasting out on Geek Tank, which is useful. I'm seeing that now. Well, that's weird. That is very strange. Very, very, very strange. Very strange, folks. I don't know what's going on over here with the interwebs. So, on the side note, tracking my UPS, I can see that my 3D printer is on its way. Okay, so let's clear up this one. This guy is almost done, completely done. I wonder if there is a way. There we are. So my signature is this guy here, and I've used this guy for a lot of these signatures and stuff. I like this guy. We're just going to copy and paste this stamp in so that I can have it down here. And I kind of like the fact that it's, disappears under here. It doesn't need to be in color, so I'm going to take it, and it is under tonal correction, and it is desaturated. Hue, saturation, luminosity, saturation all the way down, and we'll check the luminosity. Yeah, we won't be able to fix that way. All right. And the reason we, by the way, use those stamps is I actually have a physical stamp. That was my Hunko when I was in Japan. I lived in Japan for a long time, and in Japan, at least until recently, although I'm hearing this is starting to change over there. When I was over there, you had I think they're actually called chops here if you use the term, but it's a stamp that has your name on it, and it's unique. Every one of them is different, so that only you have that access to that stamp. Later on, when I came back here, of course, I don't need that stamp anymore, but that's the stamp you would use for official paperwork. So anytime you did any kind of official paperwork, you'd stamp it with your Hunko. And I came back, I brought my Hunko with me, of course. And so I was trying to find a cool way to... I've been signing my artwork with the Skull and Crossbones. And though that's cool, people don't always associate it with the dude here that I'm so fond of. They don't always associate it with... Hi, where is my mouse? There it is. With the Skull and Crossbones on the front of the Arcadia, which is where, of course, it comes from. When I started drawing, I was a big fan of anime, and this is from Harlock, and he's one of my favorites, and I absolutely adore this show, and so this is where my Skull and Crossbones signature came from. As time has gone on, of course, not only do fewer and fewer people know who Harlock is, but people are turning to looking at the Skull and Crossbones as more of a sign of piracy on the internet. And I'm not a fan of piracy on the internet. And so I've been trying to sort of downgrade my signature a little because it's no longer quite as representative as I wanted it to be. So I was looking for something, and you know what? I've got my Hunko. So I stamped my Hunko and then cleaned it up, and then sent it off to a stamp maker who made me 2 sets of self-inking stamps, which is great. So now I can just anytime I do art, just, yeah, it's all good. And that's what this guy right here is my Hanko from Japan. So it's kind of fun. Anyway, I think we are getting very close to being complete on this. I like this piece a lot. It looks good. It's solid. It has action. It has all the things we're looking for. So I think I'm going to go on ahead and just call this guy done. And so we've already saved him, but let's go on ahead and, now that the Hanko's in, let's save again. And then we're going to do the Control-Shift-E. And when you do that, condenses everything down into one layer. And then we're going to... And we have to do the same procedure we do in Photoshop, but I can't remember all of the different rules. So, well, first we're going to do this. We're going to say save as, and we're going to save it as a JPEG at large size. And then I'm going to take, we're going to shrink it down. Change canvas size, and what we're looking for is a height of 1000. Cancel. We need image size. I do this problem all the time. Change image resolution. There we go. And this is for the benefit of Ron, who needs to... So now that we've saved these in all 3 versions, I'm going to kill it at this point, right? And the major reason we kill it is because we don't want to save once all those layers have been condensed. I want to have a version with all the layers out in case somebody comes back and says, we really like this, but that back row has to go away, or we really like this, but you need to change something in the very, very, very background. And if that happens, then I want to make sure that I've got the ability to pull back out of that. So I'm very concerned about the fact that I'm half off of the internet on this one. And I'm actually concerned enough that I think I'm going to cut this show short. I've finished my project for today, and it's good and solid, and everything should be fine. And I'm not seeing anybody on my control panel up here. Nobody's responding to any of my, to this show or anything like that. So I'm not getting a lot of interaction out of it, and stuff like that. And frankly, my printer is on its way. I mean, the last time I looked, it's like the guy's in the neighborhood. He's like just south of here. I'm looking at the little tracking device on there. It's very cute. But yeah, I mean, he's almost here, and so kind of want to pick it up whenever he shows up, so that I don't have to worry about it being sitting out there, because it's my new printer, and I'm all excited about my printer. So, there's that. So there we go. So today's show, not as fully fledged as I wanted it to be, but that's okay. We'll continue on. I'll send this off to Ron and Rob at Airship 27, and they can look it over. Tomorrow we've got Pepper with us on the show, so that'll be a lot of fun. We can sit there and discuss what our plans are. That'll be the second time that Pepper's been on the show this week, but that's okay. Maybe we'll have to see whether that's a normal thing, or whether Fridays will just be my guest day when I have guests, and Pepper and I can do all kinds of other things on Wednesday during Watercolor Wednesday. Thank you all for joining me today, and I appreciate it. And I will see all of you guys on the morrow, we'll be here and broadcasting, and everything will be good. And that's a thing. Anyway, thank you all for joining me. Have a happy Thursday, and remember, keep your eyes on the stars. Computer, good night.